Thank you for joining us. From our studio in Tokyo, this is NHK Newsline. We start here in Japan, where Typhoon Haishen is moving north after skirting the southwestern island of Kyushu. Authorities are still calling on people to remain on alert. Millions have been advised to evacuate to emergency shelters. At least 35 people have been injured. And authorities in Miyazaki Prefecture say 4 people are missing after a landslide swept a building into a nearby river. Weather officials say that as of 11 a.m. on Monday, Haishen was 260 kilometers north of Tsushima City in Nagasaki Prefecture. They say the typhoon was moving north at 45 kilometers per hour toward the Korean peninsula. The storm is still bringing strong winds to Kyushu and part of Chugoku region. The typhoon is also drenching many parts of the archipelago. Authorities are warning of landslides, swollen rivers, and flooding in low-lying areas. Some farms have suffered damage. In Nagasaki Prefecture, plastic sheets were torn up due to heavy wind. The farmer says the crops have been devastated. The typhoon downed trees and blew objects into power lines. About 500,000 households are without electricity. The utilities say work to restore power will begin as soon as possible. About 6.2 million people in 10 prefectures were under evacuation advisories as of 10:30 a.m. Many emergency shelters are accepting fewer people and turning away evacuees in order to prevent coronavirus infections. The storm is also disrupting travel. About 580 domestic flights are canceled on Monday. These include flights to and from the Shikoku and Chugoku regions as well as Kyushu. All Kyushu Shinkansen bullet trains are canceled on Monday, along with all Sanyo Shinkansen bullet trains between Hakata and Hiroshima. For more on this storm, let's bring in our meteorologist, Yoko Komagata.
Kyushu has passed the peak of heavy rain and strong winds. However, some rain and winds will persist across a large portion of western Japan throughout Monday. We saw nearly 600 millimeters of rainfall in Nango, Miyazaki Prefecture for the last couple of days, and gusts of over 200 kilometers per hour were reported in Nomozaki. Many people in Kyushu are still without power. Even though Haishen has weakened a bit, the storm is still gusting at over 200 kilometers per hour. Winds and dangerous surf conditions will persist in western Japan on Monday. We have already had heavy rainfall in Kyushu and Shikoku. They could see up to 250 millimeters of additional rainfall in the next 24 hours, and the outer bound of the storm will also produce heavy downpours even farther from the typhoon. Up to 300 millimeters of rain is expected in the Kanto and Tokai regions. There is a possibility of tornadoes as well. More rain may trigger flooding and landslides. Conditions will improve across much of the country on Tuesday. At the same time, hot temperatures will return. Highs will be around the mid-30s in Tokyo and Osaka. That's about 5 degrees warmer than usual for this time of the year. That's all for now. Stay safe.
A survey of Japanese businesses shows there have been nearly 500 bankruptcies since the coronavirus pandemic claimed its first corporate victim in February. Credit research firm Teikoku Databank said the tally had climbed to 489 as of last Friday. It includes companies that filed for bankruptcy protection or launched legal liquidation procedures after halting operations. Most cases were in the restaurant sector. That was followed by accommodation facilities and clothing retailers. Separately, Tokyo Shoko Research conducted a survey of small and mid-sized businesses from July to August. 8.5% of respondents said they may have to shut down if the coronavirus outbreak doesn't end soon. There are estimated to be almost 3.6 million small and mid-sized firms nationwide. That means more than 300,000 of them are at risk of closure. In Belarus, anti-government protests show no sign of fading. An estimated 100,000 people took to the streets of the capital on Sunday, demanding President Alexander Lukashenko step down. Lukashenko says he won an election last month, but his opponents say the vote was rigged. Demonstrators marched through central Minsk and other major cities, calling for the president to resign and the release of detained protesters.
I'm here to express my opposition to Lukashenko for the rigged elections and for treating our citizens the way he does.
Why are people coming here? Because they're angry.
Marchers headed for Lukashenko's residence, but were blocked by security forces and armored vehicles. The country's interior ministry says over 100 people were detained. Demonstrators plan to step up their protest to pile pressure on the president. But Lukashenko has refused to talk with his opponent and has been looking to Russia for support. Chinese President Xi Jinping says his country intends to lead the economic recovery from the pandemic. He made the remarks at an international trade fair underway in Beijing. About 18,000 companies and organizations from more than 100 countries and territories are taking part. Some are participating online. The annual event is meant to enhance the competitiveness of China's service industry. Xi appeared via video on the opening day.
China has overcome many hardships. We are showing our determination to lead the recovery of the global economy by holding this international economic event.
Xi also warned of growing protectionism and unilateralism. The remarks come amid rising economic tensions between China and the U.S. Chinese universities have made gains in a new international ranking of the world's universities. The Times Higher Education Journal in Britain released its rankings for 2021. The THE ranks universities based on their performance indicators, including research content and the number of citations in published works. Britain's University of Oxford took the top post for the 5th year in a row. America's Stanford and Harvard follow it in 2nd and 3rd place, respectively. Universities in the two countries took the top 13 spots. China's Tsinghua in Beijing became the first Asian university to break into the top 20 under the current rating system adopted in 2011. Peking University placed 23rd, and the National University of Singapore 25th. 7 universities from China made the top 200, which is the same result as last year. Meanwhile, 2 institutions in Japan were ranked in the top 200. The University of Tokyo placed 36th, and Kyoto University was ranked 54th. They're the only Japanese universities to make it into the top 200 for 6 consecutive years. Now for world weather, we go back to Typhoon Haishen, which is still affecting Japan and other parts of Asia as well. Our meteorologist Yoko Komagata has the latest.
Typhoon Haishen made landfall in South Korea on Monday morning. It will track north across the Korean peninsula on Monday evening and push into northeastern China on Tuesday. Total rainfall could reach 400 millimeters in the eastern portions of South Korea, all the way up to the northeastern portions of China. The region had already seen heavy rainfall from tropical storms in the last 2 weeks, so further flooding and landslides are the biggest concerns. Strong winds could overturn cars and uproot trees. People living in the coastal areas should watch out for high waves and storm surges. Shanghai and Seoul is expecting stormy weather as we go into Tuesday with a high of 26 degrees. Beijing should avoid stormy weather on Tuesday. We've been talking about scorching temperatures in the southwestern U.S. Persistent heat has caused widespread forest fires. Wildfires erupted on Saturday across California amid an intensifying heat wave. The fires spread through about 9,000 hectares on Sunday. At least 63 people needed medical care, including at least 17 with severe injuries. A heat wave will continue to produce hot and dry weather in the southwestern portions of the U.S. over the next few days. In the meantime, conditions will change dramatically in the central U.S. Unseasonable cold air will spread into the Rockies and the plains on Tuesday. The high will be 33 degrees in Denver on Monday, but it will drop to only 3 degrees on Tuesday. That's all for now. Stay safe.
That's all for this edition of NHK Newsline. Thank you very much for staying with us.